everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to show you what I eat in a day. We're going to do something casual because I've not done one of these in a while. My day is starting quite late because I was supposed to film on my other camera, but it broke. So we are using my phone at the moment until I can go and get my camera fixed. For breakfast, we're going to have some porridge. I'm going to make some Fonio porridge. So I'm hungry. So let's get to cooking. The milk is boiling. You don't want soy milk to overboil too much. I'm gonna add some dates. Always make sure to salt your food. Add a little bit of salt. I'm using Fonio. It's a Ghanaian Fonio brand. I actually got it at one of the African stores here, so I'll add 1 more tablespoon. I will let it boil. I have to watch it because it can overboil. Fonio like triples its size in so many ways. So let's keep adding some water. Add some peanut butter. I see there's a lot in like, you know, like, I don't know, Guinean, Francophone porridges where they add peanut butter to their porridge. So I'm doing just that. I think it's gonna make it a lot creamier. Oh wow, she has already thickened. This actually looks so good. Maybe some cinnamon or some vanilla. Let me get some, maybe nutmeg actually. Okay, this should be enough. Add some seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds. So this is breakfast. So we are eating. I have a very long day of filming, so a little bit of behind the scenes. I don't film in the apartment I live in. I actually film where my parents live. Because all my filming equipment is here. I took all my cookbook photos. Well, not all. I took the cookbook photos that I took them here. So it's just easier for me to come and film here. So I batch film a bunch of stuff. So today I am filming my what I eat in a day. And I am going to be filming a peanut stew recipe. And then I'll be filming my dinner. But the dinner is going to be a little bit more casual, just like how I filmed my breakfast. So while I am eating, I'm gonna go through my agenda for today and make sure that I'm staying on top of plan. Bon appetit. Oh, this is nice. So I am about to start prepping for lunch. As I mentioned, we are making Miyan Taushe, which is a northern Nigerian Hausa. I mean, I know there's probably lots of groups in northern Nigeria, but it is a Hausa dish that is a peanut pumpkin leafy green stew. So I'm just prepping to take pictures of the ingredients, then I'll film a proper YouTube video. My small camera is what broke. My regular large camera that I use for my recipes is fine. So we thank God, because that setup is almost $5,000 and I cannot afford to buy it again. But yeah, so I'm going to prep this, take the pictures, and then I will actually start filming, and that we will catch up once I'm done filming. I have finished prepping. We have here the ingredients for the base of the Miyan Taushe. And then I have what I'm going to use for my broth. Doesn't it look just so colorful? And the picture is going to make it look even better. So I have just finished making my Miyan Taushe. I had another bit of an oopsie with the sanasa. I made a whole batter and realized I did not like the consistency, and I messed up some of the ratios. So I actually remade the batter and had some time kind of sitting around. It's already 3:30 and I have to make dinner too. So typically I will not be eating this late in the afternoon. I wouldn't start my eating this late in the day, but I have an agenda. So I'm going to quickly fry up the sanasa, wrap up this video, start making dinner, and then I should have 3 square meals of what I would usually be eating. So let's just pretend that I actually started eating breakfast at 9, which is typical for me. And then I'm able to squeeze in all 3 meals. I'm exhausted, I'm hungry, I'm tired, but the show must go on. I finished filming my Miyan Taushe. This is what the stew, oh, it's falling off. This is what the Miyan Taushe looks like. And this is the sanasa. So I did flip it over because this is one side of it and then there's the other side. This just looks better. Well, it's already 4:45 and I still have to make dinner. So I'm just going to have a little bit of this. Oh, bit me. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have the rest of this and then I'll get started on my stew for dinner. This thing is so good. As always, recipe, I filmed this so you'll be able to find it on YouTube. If it wasn't posted before this, it will be posted after this. And recipes will always be linked in the description box below. My own pet will try me. I had to say masa, I actually to say pancake. Wait, train. Oh. Wait, me de si chebe break can win, but this one doesn't have as much sugar. Yeah. But now I try for enemy. So. As mentioned, I wanted something casual for dinner, so I wanted to recreate a corned beef stew. I used to have a lot as a kid. Obviously, I don't eat beef anymore, so I started with cooking down some Beyond Meat meatless ground and then moved on to my stew. Like many Ghanaian stews, you start with a base of onions that are sauteed in oil till the onions have softened. Then you go in with more aromatics like garlic and ginger. Generally, that is blended into a puree, but I did not want to use my blender, so I just chopped everything nicely. Once I cooked those down till they had softened, then I added in some tomato paste for that extra tomato flavor. With tomato paste, it can burn easily, so I cooked out the canned flavor at low heat till everything was well incorporated. Then I moved on to adding in my tomatoes. Too lazy to pull out the blender, so I'm using canned tomatoes. I'm using Muti, which is my favorite brand, as well as some chili powder instead of blending Scotch bonnet pepper with tomatoes. Added some extra water and mixed everything together, and then added some bouillon paste, and then I let the stew cook for about 20 minutes till the oil separated to the top. That's when you know that the stew has like taken its time to cook. Once the oil has started to separate to the top, I added in my meatless grounds. I have made this recipe also with lentils, and I actually really like that too, so use whatever you want to use. Once everything was well incorporated, I seasoned my stew. Ghanaian stews have a mixture of indigenous spices as well as South Asian spices. We love anise seeds and licorice based spices. We love coriander, ginger, garlic. So all of that is added in this spice blend that we call ejiawari. I've done a video using it specifically for a jollof rice recipe, which I will link up here in the video screen. Once my spices were added in, I let my stew cook for another 10 minutes. I like to add my spices towards the end of the cooking process just because I don't want it to get diluted and I don't want my stew to be too bitter. So once my stew was done, I served it on some pasta and then had my dinner. Ooh. It's been a long day, but I'm finally here with my spaghetti. This is so good. I hope the Italians don't feel like I've blasphemed against them. I'm washing it down with some malt. It is actually a few days later. The thing with filming cooking videos in my household is that by nighttime when my dad comes back home, it is just too noisy to even say anything. So I didn't even introduce my dessert properly. I had a lot of pumpkin left over from when I made the Miyan Taushe. So I was like, you know what, let me just use the pumpkin. And I have acquired so many grains in this household because of my cookbook. I'm trying to use up a bunch of stuff. So I made a spiced pumpkin loaf with millets. I never foresaw myself making pumpkin desserts because if you know me online, one of my character traits is to be a pumpkin spice latte hater. And here I am making pumpkin spice desserts. The opportunity presented itself, so that's why I took it. But yeah, this is 100% gluten-free. Honestly, when I make gluten-free baked breads and goods, it reminds me of cornbread. Like the same nutty flavor, and millet is so floral, and I'm surprised that it has a lot of body to it because gluten-free, I'm not too sure. But it tastes really good. Okay, so to make this pumpkin bread, I started by blending some of the leftover steamed pumpkin I had, added my plant-based milk, added some vegetable oil. I use pretty much the same ratios when it comes to baked goods because I am self-professed not a good baker. So if I find something that works for me, I'm just gonna stick to that. In my blender, I also added 1 calabash nutmeg, just one because the flavor is quite strong. Blended that, set that aside, and for my dry ingredients, I had some millet flour, some sugar, some cloves, some nutmeg. I also went in with some ginger, and that's when I realized that I was actually making pumpkin spiced whatever this is, and some cinnamon. I added some baking powder for leavening, and then I added some salt. You always have to salt your food. I also added some baking powder, but that was off camera. Then I mixed my dry and wet ingredients together. I realized that I did not use enough millet flour, so I added another half cup in here. I poured this into a square baking pan and I baked this for about 45 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until a toothpick came out clean. Let it cool down for a bit and sliced it. Actually, my parents got to it before I got to it. Again, living in a Ghanaian household, they are sniffing around the food and then they pick up what they like, but everyone loved it. It was delicious. It really surprised me, so I'm definitely going to be making this again for sure. Gluten-free. Millet flour. Yeah, millet flour.
Oh, a nice bar.
It looks really nice.
Nice papa.
It's definitely on the drier side because gluten-free baking is on the drier side. That's why it's usually advisable for people to mix flours when they're doing gluten-free baking. For what it's doing a great job. So I will leave the recipe below. So yeah, that is everything. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it was not too chaotic and you get a sense of the type of things that I like to eat on my usually throughout the day. So all recipes in the description box below. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.